Bruchim haboim. Welcome everyone. We're about to begin Be'ezras Hashem together on Daf Chof Tes Amud Beis. 3 lines from the bottom, the new Mishnah. Our Mishnah discusses Meleches Mechabe, the Isser to extinguish a flame on Shabbos. Sometimes it's Chayiv Chatos. Other times it is Poter Midrabanon, Aval Oser. And at other times still it is Evin Mutar Lechatchila. Says our Mishnah, HaMechabes Haner Mipnei Shehu Misyori. A person who extinguishes a flame because he's fearful, either because of Nachrim, the Parsim would have a day where they would be Oved Avodah Zarah, and they would require that nobody light a Ner outside of the temple. And therefore a person then had a Ner, he would extinguish it, being fearful that they might see that flame. Or Mimnei Listim, or because of bandits, he's afraid that bandits will see him and then come and then harm him. Mibnei Ruach Ra, because of a Ruach Ra Mazikin, that it's harmful for him to see the Mazikin, or others learn that it's a deep depression that he's in and therefore he's soothed in the dark. Mibnei HaChoyle Sheyishon, to allow a Choyle to sleep. Says the Mishnah Potter. All of these cases are Potter. Gemara will explain this. Kechas al Haner, when a person is chas al, it doesn't mean that it's like he's chas al ner. It's not kof hadimyon. It means biglal, because he extinguished it, because he wants to then save the ner from then breaking due to the heat of the flame. Kechas al Hashem, or he wants to save the oil of this ner, and therefore extinguishes the flame. Or kechas al apsil, he wants to save the wick, and that's why he extinguishes. In all these cases, chayav. The Tanna Kamma says he's chayiv chatos. Rabbi Yossi poiter bechulon. Rabbi Yossi argues that all of those cases will be poter chutz min apsila mipnei shehu oisa pecham, with the exception of when a person lights and wick a psila because he wants the charcoal. He wants to then benefit from the charcoal that results from lighting the wick, or he singes the wick so they can relight it more easily in the future. In other words, the machlokes in the Tanna Kamma and Rabbi Yossi is a machlokes of malacha shenatzricha legufa. When a person does a malacha, but not for the purpose of that malacha, rather he wants something else, and therefore when he does that malacha, it's called malacha shenatzricha legufa. The classical example, a person, he needs dirt. So what does he do? He digs a hole in the field, which would be a malacha in itself of charisha, of plowing. But he doesn't want the hole at all. He just wants the dirt. So when he digs the dirt, he just wants digs the hole. He just wants the dirt. According to the Tanna Kamma, which really ascribes to the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, a malacha shenatzricha legufa is going to be chayav. Whereas Rabbi Shimon, which is the opinion of Rabbi Yossi here in our Mishnah, that a malacha shenatzricha legufa is poter. Says our Gemara, Midiktani Seifa Chayiv, from the fact that the Seifa of the Mishnah teaches Chayiv, and all of those cases of Kechas al Aner, Kechas al Hashem, Kechas al Psila is going to be Chayiv. Says the Gemara, Shma'amina Rabbi Yehuda, like we just explained, that's the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, that Malacha shenatzricha legufa is Chayiv, that even though a person doesn't need to extinguish the flame for itself, he merely wants to do it in order to then avoid a damage, a potential damage, let's say for listim. So therefore, Rabbi Yehuda says, nonetheless, he's going to be chayiv for malacha shenatzricha legufa. Ask the Gemara, but reisha b'mai, then before that, when it talks about a choila, sheyishon is poter, when he extinguishes just for the person who is a choile, so that's also malacha shenatzricha legufa. Why is that poter? Says the Gemara, B'maya Sikna, what are we discussing? What are we dealing with in that case of the choile? That says it's poter. Then mutter mi boile. If it's a choile that is, his life is endangered, that's the degree of choile that he is, and therefore he's in a sakanas nefashos. So therefore, you can then go ahead and mechalo Shabbos. It should say mutter lechatchila, because even Safek Pikuach Nefesh is Doiche Shabbos. V'i bechoyle she'ein boi sakana, and if it's a choyle that's not in sakana, then chayev chatas mi boile. It should say that he's chayev chatas, because the amlacha shenatzricha legufa, according to this Tana, is chayev. Says the Gemara, La'olam b'chole sheyesh boi sakana. Really, we're talking about a case where the chole is, yes, a chole sheyesh boi sakana. And therefore, indeed, it's pikuach nefesh. Ubedin hu de lisnu mutter. And really, you should be able to teach mutter. V'aydi de boi lemisni seifa chayiv tananami reisha potter. Because of the seifa that teaches chayiv, so therefore, in this case, we teach also potter. But really, it means potter umutter. So therefore, in all these cases, because a person's life is endangered, because of the listim, for example, or because of the nochrim, or because of the chole sheyesh boi sakana, a person puts out the flame, lichatchila, he's able to do so because it's pikuach nefesh, which is doiches Shabbos. And once again, the reason why it mentions potter over here, only because of the seifa, which mentions chayiv. In contrast to chayiv, here mentions potter. V'haditani, Rabbi Oshaya im bishvil ha'chole sheyishan lo yichabe v'im chaba potter aval oser. But Rabbi Oshaya taught that it's for a chole that is sleeping, you shall not turn out and extinguish the flame. And if you do, it's potter aval oser. Says the Gemara, Ahi bechole she'ein boi sakana. That which he is talking about is referring to a chole she'ein boi sakana. Rabbi Shimon which is a malacha she'ein tzricha legufa, and that's why he's potter aval oser. Masha'enkin, our mission is discussing a chole she'yesh boi sakana. Therefore, it's potter umutter. The Gemara now goes on to explain. Sha'ul she'ila zu le'ula le'ila merebi tanchum demin noi. The following question was asked before Rabbi Tanchum from Noi. Mahu lichbois boitzino denura mikami beisha b'shabbato. What is the din? Can you extinguish a flame of a candle before a chole sheyesh boi sakana? So we just said a chole sheyesh boi sakana, of course. Then it's mutter because pikuach nefesh is doiches Shabbos. So what's the shaila? So there's a tzad to say that the reason why he's asking the question is being asked over here is, but maybe it's better to then remove the flame, metaltel the flame, and bring it outside to avoid then being mechabe the flame. Or is it better to then mechabe the flame without then disturbing the chole and then taking the flame away from the room? Says the Gemara, Posach v'omar. So Rabbi Tanchum, he opened up with the following agadato to then open up and explain the answer to the question ultimately. He says, addressing Shlomo HaMelech, Ant Shloimoi, you Shlomo HaMelech, on Chachmasoch, on Suchlasunosoch. Where is your wisdom? Where is your understanding? Lo dayecha shedvarecha soisrin divrei David avicha. Is it not enough that your words contradict your father David? Elo, not only that, but shedvarecha soisin zeh, but your own words contradict your own words themselves. David avicha omar, says Rabbi Tanchum, David, your father, said, Loi ha-mesim yek halaluka, that the mesim will not praise you. Ve'at amris, and you said in Koheles, v'shabeach ani es ha-mesim shekvar mesu, and I praise those who are mesim, who are dead, for they already died. Is mashma over here that you're contradicting your father's words, who said that the mesim will not praise you, and yet you're saying the mesim are praising that those who are even already dead. And not only that, you're contradicting yourself. V'chazu v'amart, and afterwards you return and you said in Koheles, ki lekelev chai hu toiv min ha'arye hames, that better is a living dog than somebody who is a dead lion. And therefore you're saying that the living is greater than those who are dead. So that's a contradiction in your own terms, because you said previously that the dead is even greater because they're mishabeach even after they died. Says Rabbi Tanchum, but to answer his own question, lo kashya, it's not a difficulty, it's not a contradiction. Hodekomar David loy hamesim yahalaluko. Hachikomar, this is what David HaMelech meant to say. Lo oilam ya'asoik adam batoiro of a mitzvos koidem shiyamus shekiven shemeis botel min haTorah min mitzvos vein HaKadosh Baruch Hu shevach boy. A person should always be oisik in Torah mitzvah while he's still alive, while he still has the golden opportunity of his bechira in this world. The moment he passes away and leaves this world, he can no longer perform a single mitzvah. And therefore, even those who learn on a person's behalf or give tzedakah on somebody else's behalf, it's a zchus for the neshama. But that person did not do the mitzvah. Once he has already passed on from this world, he himself cannot perform a single mitzvah. And that's what David HaMelech was saying, Loi hamesim yahaluko. V'hainu dom Rabbi Yochanan, and this is what Rabbi Yochanan also said, my dichsiv, what is meant when it says, B'meisim chavshi. David HaMelech said those words. The meisim are chavshi, they're free. What does it mean they're free? Kivan shemeis, adam nase chavshi, mina Torah, mina mitzvahs. When a person passes on, he is now free from Torah and mitzvahs. In other words, he cannot perform any Torah and any mitzvahs any longer. And that which Shlomo Melech said in Koheles, that I am praising those who have died. When Klal Yisrael were chayt in the midbar, Omad Moshe lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Moshe Rabbeinu said before Hashem, V'omar, he said, Kama tfilos v'tachanunim lefonov. How many tfilos did Moshe Rabbeinu make v'lo nena, and he wasn't answered? And he was alive when he made those tefillos, of course. Ukishe Omar, but when he said, Zecha la'Avraham liYitzchok liYisrael avodecha, when he brought the Zechus Avos who are no longer alive, who are dead, they left this world, miyanene. So we see that Shlomo Melech is saying, Shabech es hamesim, that those mesim who did tremendous righteousness in their lifetime, now they are considered to be great and praiseworthy now that they have passed on. And therefore they were answered before and in place of Moshe Rabbeinu's own tefillos. Was it not indeed correct that Shlomo Melech said those words, V'shibach ani es hamesim shekvar meisu? Dover Acher Rabbi Tanchum explains alternatively with another explanation to resolve the apparent contradictions. Minhago shel oilo melech basav adam gozer gzeira. The minhag of the world is that when a melech makes a gzeira, safek mekaymin oisa, safek ein mekaymin oisa. Maybe it will be fulfilled, maybe it will not. V'im timtzu lo imar mekaymin oisa. Even on the tzad that it will be fulfilled, b'chayav mekaymin oisa, b'moisoi ein mekaymin oisa. That's so long as that the person, the melech, is still alive. But after he's gone, so it's not necessarily going to be continued to be fulfilled. V'ilu Moshe Rabbeinu gozar kama gzeiros v'tikun kama takonos v'kaimos heim la'olam ula'olmei olamim. And those gzeiros that Moshe Rabbeinu made, even though after he had passed on, it continues to then be fulfilled forever and ever. V'lo yafa Omar Shlomo v'shabech ani es hamesim. And therefore, was it not correct that Shlomo Melech said, and the Mesim who passed on are even greater than those who are continuing to still be alive? Dover Acher Rabbi Tanchuma explains in a third way, V'shabech ani es hamesim, to explain what seemed to be a contradiction. K'd Rav Yehuda Amarav. Dom Rav Yehuda Amarav, my dichsi, what's meant in the following posuk? Asei mi ois litoivo. V'yiru soynai v'yevoishu. David HaMelech says, he appeals to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and he says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, make for me a sign that indeed those who are my enemies should see and be embarrassed. People were making fun of him and belittling him for what appeared to be a sin that he had with Bathsheba. Bathsheba, she was married to Uriah Hittite, and Uriah, he was sent into battle. And those who went into battle were required to give a get to their wives in case they were to die in battle, not leaving their wives to be in aguna. Meanwhile, David HaMelech had relations with Bathsheba, but that was after her husband had already died, and she was actually considered to be now a pnuya. And therefore, what appeared to be a chet, and those who made fun of him, caused David HaMelech tremendous tsar. Omar David lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu Ribono shel olam machali al oisei ova. Nonetheless, David HaMelech, he suffered terribly, and he said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, be moichel me, for doing anything that might have been considered to be wrong in the eyes of others. Omar loi machaloch. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, I'm moichel you. Omar lo, he said, Asei mi ois bechai, but still make me a ois, a sign in my lifetime, that my enemies can see, and I can no longer then suffer any further aggravation. Omar loi bechayecha eni moidia. I will not then make it known to you in your lifetime. However, it will be, yes, made known to your son in his lifetime. Shlomo HaMelech. Kishebona Shlomo es Beis HaMikdosh, bikesh lekayhanim, Aaron, the Beis Kodesh HaKadoshim. They want to bring in the Aaron to be in the Beis Kodesh HaKadoshim. Dovku she'orim zeh b'zeh. The she'orim, the gates, closed, and they didn't let the Aaron in. Omar Shlomo esrim va'arba ra'nonos v'lo neno. He said 24 supplications, and he wasn't answered. Posak ve'omar su'u she'orim roishechem v'inoso pischei olam v'yover melech hakovod. Raise your heads, O gates, and lift up and open up for the melech hakovod to enter. So they thought, the gates thought that he was talking about himself. The Melech HaKovod was himself. Shlomo HaMelech. Azrotu Basrei, they ran after him, lemivloi, to swallow him up. Omru, they said, Mihu ze Melech HaKovod. Who is this Melech HaKovod that you're referring to? Omar Lud. Shlomo HaMelech said, Hashem oiz v'gibor. Chozer v'omar, and then Shlomo HaMelech said, Su'u she'orim rashechem. Lift up your heads, O gates. V'su'u pischei olam v'yover melech hakovod mihu ze melech hakovod Hashem tzivokos hu melech hakovod sela v'lonen, and still he wasn't answered. Kivan she'omar, since he said Hashem Elokim al toshe pnei meshichecha zachor lechazdei David avdech, remember the kindliness of your servant David, my father. Miyad nene, immediately he was answered. Subsequently, all of the enemies of David, their faces were like the bottom of a pan. And everybody, the entire nation, they knew that David HaMelech was being pardoned by HaKadosh Baruch Hu on that sin of Bathsheba. Is it not then good what Shlomo HaMelech indeed said when he said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he said, I praise the Mesim who already died, Shlomo HaMelech said. In other words, we have another instance where the Mesim were even greater than those who are still alive. And this is what meant in the Pasuk by Yom HaShmini, on the 8th day of the Chanukas ha-Mizbeach, Shilach es ha'am, v'yivorchu es ha'melech. They sent the nation, v'yivorchu es ha'melech, and they blessed the king. V'yelchu la'oleichem, smeichim v'toivei leiv. They went to their tents, happy and glad-hearted. Al kol ha'toiva she'osa Hashem leDavid avdo lisul amo, on all the good that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did for his servant David and his nation, Klal Yisrael. The Pasuk now says, Vayelchu la'aleim, the Gemara darshans. They went to their oyhalim, to their tents, as a reference to their wives. Shematzu nishoiseim betaharo. Smeichin, they were happy. Shenenu meziv hashchina. V'toivei lei, they're happy-hearted. Shenisabru nishoiseim shekol echad ve'echad v'yolda zochar. Al kol ha'toiva she'osa Hashem leDavid avdo, the Pasuk goes on to say, Shemachol loy al oisa ovoin. The HaKadosh Baruch Hu pardoned David on that sin. Uli Yisrael amoy, the ochelu avon the Yom HaKippurim, and Klal Yisrael was also forgiven for the fact that they ate on Yom HaKippurim because of the Chanukas Habayis.